The Crescent Moon Club, in association with ABT, presents Omnibus Unlimited, a roundtable discussion of provocative issues which must be addressed today. Radiovision for the 21st century. Hello again, everyone. I'm Laurence, Nobile, independent researcher and host of Omnibus Unlimited. Tonight we come to you from the basement of the South Shore Mental Hospital. And tonight, our topic for discussion is responsible journalism. With me to address this subject is seeker and producer of Omnibus Unlimited, John Horrigan. John, thanks for making the show possible and for being here tonight.
Thanks for having me on, Larry.
We may be joined later on by psychic healer and medical technician Tom Murray, but until he shows up, John and I will have to do. And tonight we're talking about responsible journalism, John. Why don't you explain to our audience exactly how we plan on going about that?
Well, we plucked some tabloids off of the supermarket stand. Some of the most bizarre ones. We're not too interested in the Hollywood lowdown. It's all Bert and Lonnie at the time of this recording anyways, and now it's Tattoo and Michael touching people. But this one here is, the Loch Ness Monster seems to make it on the cover of either the Sun or the Weekly World News once a month, it seems. They've caught the Loch Ness Monster. But it's about responsible journalism. We're going to talk about types of journalism, whether it be yellow journalism, which is cowardly shots, muckraking, or mudslinging, that type of shoddy journalism. But I guess we have to start with free speech and First Amendment, freedom of speech. Personally, I'm against free speech. I think that amendment should be struck from the Constitution, that there should be some sort of commission to look at the Constitution and rewrite it, update it. You see a lot of towns in America rewriting it. You see a lot of towns or hamlets in Europe rewriting their charters. Why should you have to adhere to something that's 300, sometimes 400 years old? Now, what do I mean by that? You're saying, what do you mean no free speech? Because a free speech, I think, is like total happiness, is like a perfect relationship, is like true, pure love. You can never achieve it as a human, a sin-free life. You can never get free speech. And my response to when somebody says, you can't say that, it's like, shut up yourself. I have a right to say it. This is America. I have the right to say whatever I please. But I think that a lot of times you see cases of censorship. I think the news, the way it's fed to us, is censored. It's one editor's opinion, one publisher's opinion, one producer or director's opinion, news writers. That's who perceives the news and how it's going to be reported. Now, if you look at the national news, tonight, if you were to flip through NBC, ABC, and CBS, you'd see 3 different top stories. You'd see a different array of stories. You'd see the same exact formula. And that is supposedly responsible journalism. We've seen cases in history where journalism has been wrong. Dewey defeats Truman, for instance. A lot of different things that we had knocked out all of Iraq's communication and military defenses. And then we found out that wasn't so. But when you talk about free speech, you don't have free speech. You can't say whatever you want. Okay, so it's kind of a paradox. Free speech, you're always cloaked, it seems. Somebody's always coming and saying you cannot say that. You get sued for things, for saying something. But basically, I'm not for free speech. Remove it. Have limited speech, and the things that you can't say must be written down on this parchment, on this Constitution. It's got to be in writing. Other than that, I don't want to hear about it.
Well, very interesting, John. I don't exactly agree with that. I believe that there is no freedom of speech in its purest form.
That's what I'm saying.
But I disagree with you, and when I say that I believe that freedom of speech should be allowed in this country. I think that
you're misunderstanding me. I think it should be allowed, absolutely. What I'm saying is, if you're going to say free speech, it might as well be free. Otherwise, let's get to the point and cross your dot your I's and cross your T's and state what cannot be spoken. Oh, I'm totally for free speech.
Okay, so you agree with me there, but you also agree with me then that it really doesn't exist, right, as we understand. I think that you can't say things that are libelous. That is to say, something which is totally wrong, something which could damage someone's career, future. I think that, and so, in that light, there is no real freedom of speech, because if there were, then you could say whatever you want with no consequence whatever. But I think if they begin to form panels and opinions, we're in trouble. And I think it's important that we have people like the Nazis and consequently the American Civil Liberties Union, who fights continuously to maintain their right to say whatever it is they want to say. And it's interesting to note that the Nazi movement always employs the American Civil Liberties Union to defend them, but in the same breath, they turn to the American Civil Liberties Union and say, you know, if we win and we get what we want, you're the first to go. And the Civil Liberties Union says, yes, we understand that, but that's why we're so great, because
we can destroy ourselves.
We can destroy ourselves, but we're not going to, because our strength is in allowing freedom of opinion. It's really not freedom of speech is what we have. We have freedom of opinion. If I think Bill Clinton is an idiot, then that is my opinion, and I can say so, that I think he is. But it's interesting that the Nazis would be the first thing to go, would be the American Civil Liberties Union, and they need them so badly.
They had book burning back during Hitler's days. But look at the way we've
had book burning here in New York with the burning of Reich's books.
That's right.
Wilhelm Reich. His books were burned.
Beatles records were smashed in Tennessee. But look at what we've been taught. We're finding out that our history, the history that we've learned, is being revised. Revisionists like yourself and Dan Mahoney, independent researchers, are finding out that what we've been taught has been a Christian influenced history, plucking certain events out of time that were important events, but there were other things going on in the world at that time that are only coming to light within the past 10 to 15 years. In that same token, science, we found out that it's pinned the tail on the donkey at a kid's birthday party, and they've got the tail. And they're blindfolded and they're being spun around, and they're kind of accurate. They can get it on the map with the guy, with the help from the birthday girl's mother.
Well, we are trying to figure out what's going on, but you're quite right. And I think I know what you're alluding to. Doctors practice medicine. They really don't know medicine. They're practicing medicine. Right. Scientists are practicing science. They really don't understand what the hell is going on. They think they do, but chances are that they really don't. And go on.
They walk backwards, scientists do, and they cover up their footprints. See? They don't want people to know that they went down the wrong path.
Yeah, and I think that's quite right, and I think it's very interesting that every new discovery pushes dates back. And perhaps it'll occur to someone other than myself and yourself that perhaps they'll figure out someday that there was no beginning, that the universe is eternal, and that
that man was on Earth with dinosaurs
a long time during and possibly before. We've had lots of conversations with Dan Murray and Tom Murray about the possibility of an advanced civilization or civilizations having been here long before our civilization. And it's as if we've discovered the technology that once existed again, as it were. But nonetheless, I think the magazines that we have in front of us, the what is it, the World News,
the Weekly World
the
News,
Weekly
and
World
the Sun.
News and the Sun. Mm-hmm. These, it is as much fun as people will poke at these magazines. I think that having these magazines on the stands, on the bookshelves, is important. It means that we can deal with hyperbole and just total, well...
But it's like wearing a baseball hat that says "We have free speech," is what you're saying. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm... It's very well put, John. It's a medal. We're wearing it like a badge that, hey, look, we have free speech. And the Brits actually have pretty free speech as well.
I've subscribed to this and the Weekly World News. I just got a subscription because the stories are so fascinating, and they always have good monster pictures. On the cover of mine, it has Loch Ness Monster captured, and the sun has color supplements, and says drug dart tames great beast, and underneath that it says laser surgery could free tragic man's unborn twin, and it shows this guy with an arm coming out of his side with a wooden hammer, and says top surgeon flies to his side. And I think there's a pun there because the arm's coming out of the side. Then to the lower right hand corner, couple stay in their honeymoon hotel room 56 years. They probably murdered each other. Then lightning makes bald man grow hair overnight. What about that? Lightning makes bald man grow hair overnight. I bet you that could happen. We'll check that out. Then we have Nostradamus off at the top. Nostradamus predicted Mississippi floods and other events that will happen this year. Then it says full moon can make you psychic, and bike riding improves your love life. I think bike riding does improve your love life. I think there's some validity to that claim. Full moon can make you psychic. I think there may be some validity to that claim, too, as far as that goes. Nostradamus predicted Mississippi floods? Perhaps. I'd have to look at the quatrains. You can translate them, as you know, into anything, and he could have predicted anything. Did they capture the Loch Ness Monster? Probably not. The guy with the unborn twin? No, stop it. It's a picture. Couple stays in their honeymoon hotel room for 56 years? No. But, this...
Well, I think that you bring up a good point about the pictures. In today's computerized environment, my goodness, our good friend Eric Bickernix has the capacity to alter photographs. I mean, so you really cannot believe what you see. I mean, that's a terrific picture right in the front, and as you mentioned, the sun does have color, whereas the Weekly World News does not. It's black and white. But that's a terrific picture. We've got a picture here of, let's take a look at this, of a man in one of these plastic...
And know what the beauty of this show, Larry, is we're inserting this picture as you're describing it.
Well, that's right. And as you can see, there's some sort of dart there, and some guy is holding on to its snout, and a couple of other lines there. But this is interesting. Where did they get this... photograph, if it is indeed a photograph? I don't know. Do you think it's a photograph? But probably not. And the whole thing with Nostradamus, you can read into the quatrains whatever you wish to read into it. I don't know. Very interesting. The Loch Ness Monster is always being captured. You're right.
Then on my other one, it says Elvis is back, which is tired. The reborn king returns to earth to start a new religion. So what they're implying here is that Elvis is Jesus Christ. This is the son again. And then the lead story, and this is the one that just caught our eyes, and this is what, I guess, spawned this show.
That's right.
When Larry developed it. It says, giant condor attacks plane. Passengers are fed to its young. And as Mark Gallagher pointed out, the first one to be eaten, obviously, was Heather Locklear. Okay, yeah.
That's an interesting story. I can't wait to get into it and read it because, again, a terrific drawing of or picture of what happened. Were there any planes missing? It'd be terrific to know where they got their information.
And then it says, shrunken head is still alive. Its hair and beard keep on growing. I don't know. Wives,
well, as
beware.
we all know, even after death, hair and fingernails continue to grow.
Okay, so there could be some
so
validity to
that
it.
part is correct. I mean, I've seen headlines in these papers. I remember the one I remember, the all-time best I remember seeing was a big headline in one of, I can't remember which one it was. It says new machine allows you to talk to the dead. It said nothing about the machine being able to have the dead talk to you, but you can talk to the dead. And, well, okay, that's right. I mean, it does do that, but a completely truthful headline with absolutely no meaning whatsoever.
Oh, and here's another one, the last headline before we dig in here. Bride and groom forget to attend their wedding.
That is
that could
amazing.
happen, too.
I suppose that could happen.
Right. Yeah, this is about the giant condor. It attacks a plane and feeds passengers to its young. It's been snatching small planes out of midair in the Andes Mountains, and now he's been seen in America's Rocky Mountains. Scientists are in on it.
How big is the condor?
80-foot wingspan. And
80 foot. Wow.
Yeah, it makes 90-degree turns, and it's been taking a lot of small planes. Pilots have been warned, and there must be others hidden high in the Andes because it's a female, and she didn't lay fertile eggs through some act of immaculate conception. So there's a religious intonation at the end.
So now
of
we've
the
got
twist.
a bird that can take 90-degree turns.
Mm-hmm.
Has eggs of immaculate conception. This is amazing. I mean, wow. How many planes has it grabbed? Is that the only one that's grabbed so far?
No, it's just grabbed a half a dozen.
A half a dozen. Now, how does stuff like this get overlooked by the New York Times and the Boston Globe?
That's the cover-up, man. That's why there's no free speech. This has been going on.
There you go. No free speech. They're not covering the important stories.
No, but they weren't released. I mean, this and that's great about this thing. And it's sensational journalism. I think it's beyond yellow journalism.
Well, it's a sensational story. I'll tell you that.
It reeks of censorship in the sense that it's saying that there's been a government cover-up in almost every instance. Does that make sense to you? It's so free that it reeks of censorship?
Yes, but again, I'd like to see some of the details. Usually, nobody of any note is ever quoted. There are never very many facts. But go on. What do we have here? Something is lost in space?
Yeah, Russians leave dead cosmonaut floating in orbit. Check it out. That's a cool picture.
That's awful mean of them.
Isn't it? It is. It's cruel. It's cruel.
What do you think? They couldn't go back and get him or something?
They were stunned. This happened 5 years ago. A spacesuit failed. And at least 10 other cosmonauts died in space-related accidents since 1965, but their bodies were recovered. Now, I could believe that. I know that there's been some cosmonaut accidents with the Soviets. They haven't lost as many cosmonauts as we have. But I do know that the cosmonaut that spent the time in Mir, I don't have his name offhand. There, I just left a pause to insert his name. He came down after setting the record for most days in space, and had some sort of. He was mildly retarded, as if it's space retardedness. If you're in a gravity-free area, the brain is not made to be in gravity-free zones for an extended period, and he was in the Mir space station, which incidentally I got to see fly overhead one night.
Oh, did you?
Oh, it was just one of those rare things to see it. It had to be at the perfect orbit, and you have to be at the perfect altitude. So conceivably, it could be seen every single night from a different area.
I've seen the shuttle go overhead a couple of times. I'm sure you have. That's a nice sight, seeing that star go overhead, supposedly star. But that's very interesting, and sure, I can believe that we have some space-related illnesses.
What do you have, Lar?
What do we have here? The Weekly World News is what we have. New NASA photo proves humans lived on Mars.
Well, let's just take time out.
You take a look at this picture here. You can see the picture was taken August 20.
Now, I've seen
again, remarkable pictures.
Yeah, and I've seen that actual picture, not as detailed. It was taken by some Martian probe that we set up, perhaps Viking.
Face on Mars was built by men 200,000 years ago.
Or Voyager may have taken it. But there are a lot of anomalies on the surface of Mars. Wouldn't you say that there are some questions that still have to be answered regarding topographical features on Mars that do not look to be geological, that look to be artificial hedges?
There do appear to be some evidence that that Mars may very well have been an inhabited planet many, many years ago. and quite possibly their descendants came here. We don't know. You have to remember that Mars is within the belt or range for having life develop, at least on this star. But it does look as though Mars went through some cataclysmic event which stopped whatever it was that was happening. But
at a very basic stage, or are you talking an advanced civilization?
I'm not quite sure, John. I think the school is out on this. They say that there is no life on Mars, yet there is water. So
ice caps.
Ice caps.
They're nitrogen, aren't they? Or?
No, actually, there is water. There's a layer of water underneath the ground, and so it seems to me that there could be some microbes or bacteria of some sort.
Absolutely.
But supposedly this stone monument is a mile long and 2,000 feet high.
Water is the playground of life.
Exactly.
What else do you have here?
Well, this terrible story that was in the Globe and many other papers across the country, a fatal attraction to volcanoes kills Massachusetts woman.
So that was in the Boston Globe, is what you're saying?
That's right. Kelly Stevens had gone to Hawaii, and they were up there on sightseeing on Krakatoa, and the bloody thing exploded while they were right there.
Wow.
Nobody knew that it was going to happen, and she
But
was
one
killed.
of those mild explosions that happens all the time, once every 4 years, right?
That's right. This was the big one. Let's see, just sort of scanning down here. Again, no dates. They just...
Why don't we move on? Mm-hmm. So she bought it through...
she bought it. It's just one of those unfortunate...
Her and her lava.
Okay, here it is again. Scientist blows lid off NASA cover-up. Top secret photo proves humans lived on Mars. And, I see. NASA top secret photo was obtained by Dr. Benjamin Fernia. Interesting. Well, what else do we have here?
So that's there are features on Mars. Werewolves are real?
Werewolves are real.
I would say that has validity. You heard about the guy in England who he would have werewolf fits in full moons, the full moon, and there was people from Scotland Yard that testified that a normal size window pane. Okay, you know what a normal size window pane is. Mm-hmm. That they locked him up in this cell, and that was the only window in the door, you know what I'm saying, a breathing window, and that he got his entire head and shoulder and one arm out, and he was out up to his waist.
Indeed.
And he had extra long hair. They said he looked like he had fangs. He looked like an animal.
Well, I think there are many things, John, that are downplayed, as it were, if not outright covered up. Things that would scare most people, don't you think? The idea of werewolves, don't you think that would scare a large portion of the population? Or some sort of face on Mars? This would be some sort of upheaval for civilization as we understand it. I mean, after all, we are based upon, several religions, Christianity being one of them. So we are at the mercy of individuals who have a certain frame of mind, and that does not include faces on Mars and lost spacemen in space and werewolves. So many of these things could very well be true. Many of the more bizarre things. Football player orders players to
football
have...
coach.
Football coach orders players to have sex with his wife.
That was some allegation that I remember hearing about last year.
New study.
I'd like to get in her end zone.
She is rather
cute.
Pretty girl.
Strange.
Sleeping camper awakened by 500-pound bear drooling on his face.
Now we're going to be doing a
That's
show
right,
about
a show
that, so we don't want to really tip it off. But but let's check into what happened to this guy here, the bear.
Looming over David's sleeping bag at 2:30 a.m. with saliva dripping from its mouth was a slobbering 500-pound black bear.
A black bear. They're tough.
Mm-hmm. Wow. very interesting. I'm not sure that my heart would survive that. New study proves it. Most space aliens are dwarfs. Well, that's interesting to know. Perhaps Oprah could talk about that sometime. So.
No, but I mean, it makes sense.
You think?
Well, how many aliens have you heard the stories of aliens being tall? They're always 3 to 4 feet tall.
Well, you know, in our earlier conversation just a moment ago about space and weightlessness, you would think that because of the weightlessness, you might...
I mean, generally, I think people have gotten smaller through the ages as opposed to gotten bigger, Larry. I think that, well, I think that...
More compact? Yeah.
Yeah, giants. I think that giants once roamed this earth, the first race of people. Not that they're giants like Jack of the Beanstalk tall giant, but probably 8 feet was a big... I think there were 9-foot people at one time, absolutely.
So through genetics, we
just
sort of get
shrunk down.
smaller.
Yeah, there's no need to be that tall. We don't have to,
no need to be that big.
Pull a pear off the top of a tree. We can climb
just
it.
Make our shelves a little shorter.
Yeah, you know.
Let's see. Man hurls lawnmower at neighbor while it's still running, say cops.
I believe that.
That sounds pretty believable.
Oh, here's one.
Shannon Doherty.
Yeah, what's it say?
Star of 90210. I am not a bitch.
Yes, you are, but I still love you, honey.
Now this is blatant, terrible journalism here. She is a bitch, and
no. Either way, she's a babe, is what she is.
She's a 6 on Larry's scale of 0.
Oh, stop it. She's a 9. She's hot. She's hip.
Ooh, here's one. People who grow horns. Interesting. People who grow horns.
People who grow horns.
Horns.
Oh,
look at this.
I've heard of people growing corns, but not horns.
Corns, but not horns. Oh, this woman here. Look at all those horns coming out of her legs. Terrible. Well, we got about 4 minutes left in the show, and we're coming to the end of a pretty interesting topic. What do you think, John? I mean, we will have to do this again.
Yeah, just pull out the tabloids. It's responsible journalism. We weren't very responsible in the way we reported it. Well,
this is our first shot at it. I mean, how do you report?
It's great fun.
Cruise ship vanishes in the Devil's Triangle. Well, and that's pretty interesting. I can pretty much believe that. There have been reports. I remember Eric Pickernix was telling me that in the Bermuda Triangle, in some cases, because of air coming up out of the ground, that the water becomes very thin, and when it's aerated like that, and anything will sink right down. So a lot of these things have a little bit of truth mixed into it. Anyway, that'll about do it for our topic of responsible journalism. I'd like to thank you, John, for having the program and for being here to bounce it off with me.
Thanks, Larry. Yeah, it was a pleasure being here in the basement of the South Shore Mental Hospital.
Well, it was quite interesting. They got less boisterous as the show went along. As our viewers no doubt have. At this point, I'd like to remind our viewers that Omnibus Unlimited is seeking aspiring artists and videographers to display their works on our visual backdrop of Omnibus Unlimited. If you are an artist or videographer and you'd like to have your works displayed on our show, send your letter of inquiry to Omnibus Unlimited, Box 577, Dover, Massachusetts, 02030-0577. In your inquiry, please include your name, address, phone number, and area of study. All inquiries will be answered, and maybe your work will appear on Omnibus Unlimited. For the rest of our audience, if you're interested in this show and have any questions, comments, suggestions, or if you'd like to be a guest on Omnibus Unlimited, that address once again is Omnibus Unlimited, Box 577, Dover, Massachusetts, 02030-0577. I'm Laurence, Nobile, independent researcher and host of Omnibus Unlimited. For all of us here at Omnibus Unlimited, I'd like to thank you for your attention. Good night and good luck. Omnibus Unlimited is a presentation of ABT and the Crescent Moon Club.